The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning, everyone. It is 5 a.m. on this Thursday morning. I'm Alex Fisher along with Nicole Gitsky. Maddie has the day off, spending time with some family. And, well, we did it. Another day of triple digits.
Oh, my goodness. It has been so hot out. You know, you wake up, and especially waking up this early. I mean, it's been like 80 degrees outside in the morning.
I know. It already feels like it. Let's take a look at our forecast, and you can already notice a little bit of a change, though, outside. Yesterday's high, 106 degrees. Nicole, did you feel that? 106?
Oh, I felt it.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that outside. Our record on this day, yesterday, was 109 back in 1970. So you can see how close we were. Alyssa Carlson, our chief meteorologist, said we would get to close to 109, and sure enough, we for sure did. Right now, though, in Bakersfield, you're looking at a temperature of 77 degrees, so you only have a few more hours at most to keep the windows open, let that fresh air come on in before it does warm up, and you'll have to kick the AC on once again. Here's what you can expect first let's take a look at the watches and warnings, because you can see, although some of the excessive heat advisories and warnings have expired, we still have a heat watch in our area. Portions of the desert and south of the county are still seeing that excessive heat warning. So just keep that in mind. It's not going to be as hot today as it was yesterday, but still dangerously hot. We're going to warm things up into the triple digits once again today, especially after noon. And here's what you can expect in the mountain communities. We'll be back into the 90s. You may actually be a little warmer today than you were yesterday, just by a degree or two. Our chief meteorologist, Alyssa Carlson, will have more on your forecast and how long the triple digits will last. That's coming up a little bit later this morning. Our time now is 5:02, and this morning 3 people are in the hospital after being shot late last night. Police say the shooter is still on the run. The shooting happened at the corner of Tommy's Liquor just after 10:30. When police arrived, they say they found 3 people shot. All 3 were taken to the hospital. We're still working to determine how badly the 3 were wounded. Police say they're still looking for the shooter. And just 30 minutes later, sheriff's deputies responded to what they believed was a shooting on Rosedale Highway and Gibson Street, but it turns out it wasn't a shooting, but a gun was involved. KCSO says they found a man who was severely hurt after being hit in the head with a pistol. He was taken to the hospital. Deputies say the incident stemmed from a family dispute involving domestic violence. According to KCSO, deputies have identified a suspect, but no arrests have been made. And domestic violence is an issue we take seriously here at Channel 17. If you are experiencing domestic violence, there is help. You can always call 911 if it is an emergency. You can also call the Alliance Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault during normal business hours at 322-0931, or you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE.
Well, at least one person was killed in a crash on the Grapevine last night. CHP says the crash happened just after 9:30 at Grapevine Road, just off Interstate 5 at Fort Tejon. A blue Mazda veered off the northbound lanes, and at least one person inside was killed, according to CHP. The northbound Grapevine Road on-ramp and off-ramp reopened just before midnight. CHP and Arvin police are investigating after a person was found dead in a roadway in Arvin. The incident was reported as a possible collision with a pedestrian and happened just after 10 p.m. at Sunset Boulevard near Campus Drive. According to CHP's traffic incident information page, one person reported seeing a vehicle swerve and then saw a body on the ground. No word yet on whether the person in the roadway was struck by a car.
For the second time in a week, things got heated at a meeting of the Fairfax School Board last night.
We want to hear from you, but you're not doing it.
Before the board met in closed session to review qualifications for the district's next superintendent, roughly 24 people gathered at district headquarters in southeast Bakersfield, with some calling on board president Palmer Mullen to resign. It all comes after this scathing grand jury report released last week, calling the board divided and dysfunctional. Last summer, the board hired an investigative firm to look into harassment and bullying allegations against Moland. By winter, the firm presented its findings to the board and called on trustees to formally censure or rebuke Moland. But Moland, along with trustees Jose Luis Tapia and Alma Rios, threw out a proposed censure resolution, which enraged many in the community. Fast forward to last week, the grand jury stated the board, which oversees the district of 2,500 students and 4 campuses, has failed to allow public comment, violated its own bylaws, and took no action regarding the allegations against President Moland. Among several recommendations, the grand jury said the board should hire a conflict resolution specialist, allow more public access at meetings, and the report called on the board to remove President Moland by June 30th, a recommendation supported by many in attendance at last night's meeting.
I, as a taxpayer and a citizen of this community, am requesting that Mr. Moland resign from this very meeting and should not be allowed to represent our district in any manner.
The board should remove the current president of the board.
Calling into the meeting via Skype, Moland responded to his calls for resignation.
We're attacking board members every meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and we're expecting them to go about district business. This is appalling. This is appalling.
Some members of the community are organizing a recall campaign against Moland, Tapia, and Rios. The next board meeting is set for later this month.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
The federal government is rolling out a new campaign to get most Americans at least partially vaccinated by the 4th of July. Tracy Potts has more on what that campaign will look like.
Good morning, everyone. Right now in the United States, we're seeing the lowest rates of new COVID cases in a year, with nearly 2/3 of Americans at least partially protected. And now the government's rolling out what they're calling the National Month of Action to create a summer of independence. As summer begins, the government is making a big push to get most adults vaccinated, 70% with the first shot by July 4th.
We're announcing a month-long effort to pull all the stops to free ourselves from this virus.
The administration is targeting areas with the lowest vaccination rates, a national tour in the South and Midwest led by Vice President Harris, partnering with 1,000 black-owned barbershops and beauty salons to promote shots, 24-hour drugstore clinics on Fridays. States and companies are offering incentives, free donuts, free flights, free beer, free guns in West Virginia, cruises, Super Bowl, and $1 million lottery tickets.
There are people out there who we think can be persuaded, and some of them may like the idea that they can win $1 million.
And the government's gearing up to send 80 million doses around the world.
We're going to do that based on science and need, and we're going to do that without any political strings attached.
That announcement could come from the White House as soon as today. That's because vaccination rates are lagging the U.S. around the world, and without a big push at these rates, experts say the world won't see herd immunity where most people are protected until 2024. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
And to our daily coronavirus update, Public Health reported 41 COVID-19 cases yesterday and 5 new deaths. 1,394 people have died from the virus in Kern County since the pandemic began. The state reports 43 people are hospitalized with more severe symptoms of the virus, and 9 of them are being treated in area intensive care units. Well, today, KGET is hosting a free vaccine clinic outside our studios. It's happening from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Compassion Corner. Kern Medical will be on hand to administer both the Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. The first 500 people who show up will receive free tacos and a box of food courtesy of the Community Action Partnership of Kern. And the Kern County Latino COVID-19 Task Force is also offering several vaccine clinics this week, hoping to reach people living in underserved areas of the county. Now, there's one today from 2 to 5:30 at Nueva High School in Lamont and another at the McFarland Junior High School. There's one tomorrow at the Fiesta Supermarket in Wasco and one Saturday at the Compassion Christian Center in Bakersfield. You can make an appointment by calling 525-5900, but walk-ins will be accepted. You can find more information on our website, kget.com.
It is summertime, and soon enough, families will be setting off fireworks to celebrate the 4th of July. And the Bakersfield SPCA wants to help keep your pet safe during the loud booming noise. Pet parents can set up signs in their yards to let neighbors know they have pets that are scared of fireworks. You can pick them up at SPCA for a $25 donation. This weekend, you can lace up your running shoes for the annual Walk for Kids. The event helps raise money to support the children who stay at the Ronald Mcdonald house and are undergoing medical treatment. It is a virtual walk this Saturday, and you can participate any way you want. Scarlett Sabin, the executive director of the Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House, says.
There's so many different ways, even with COVID, to get involved, even with some of the limited restrictions that we still have. But we have been serving families.
The Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House has an online fundraising goal of $165,000 and has already raised more than $102,000, according to the event website. For more information on how to donate or take part in the walk, just head to our website, kget.com.
Well, if you have a flag you want to get rid of, you can still participate in our annual flag drive. The Veterans of Foreign Wars is collecting old American flags that need to be disposed of in a safe and dignified way. We're accepting donations now through June 30th. Then on June 14th, Flag Day, the Veterans of Foreign War will host a special flag disposal ceremony. And we put out the call and you answered in a very big way. TV 17 teamed up with Guarantee Shoe Center for our annual Shoes for the Homeless Drive, which wrapped up yesterday. We collected your shoe donations here in our lobby and at the Shoe Center, and we collected more at their store in downtown Bakersfield. And together, this community donated more than 3,000 pairs of new and gently used shoes. They will be given to the Bakersfield Homeless Center. We want to thank you for your generosity. Welcome back. Making headlines around the nation, 3 police officers were shot in Wilmington, Delaware overnight. Aerials over the scene early this morning show a large presence of law enforcement. Officials say officers responded to a call late last night in the northwest portion of the city. Once on scene, a gunman inside an apartment complex opened fire. 3 officers were struck and taken to a local hospital. Officials say all 3 are in stable condition. Well, officials in Florida have released deputies' body camera video in a shootout involving 2 kids. The Volusia County Sheriff says a 14-year-old girl was shot by deputies Tuesday after the teenager and another child, a 12-year-old boy, broke into a house, found weapons inside, and opened fire on law enforcement. No officers were hit.
Nobody comes to work to shoot and kill anybody. We certainly don't come to work to get into gunfights with 12 and 14-year-olds. But we got to take a step back. What we're doing is not working. It's not working.
Officials say the 2 children had run away from a facility for troubled youth before the break-in at the home and the shootout that followed. The girl, who was shot multiple times, is now in stable condition.
The world's largest meat processing company says it is resuming production after being hit by a cyber attack. JBS announced all of its plants are expected to be running close to full capacity today. The attack affected computer servers in North America and Australia. It is not known if a ransom was paid. JBS has not discussed it in public statements or in requests to NBC News. The FBI attributed the attack to Revel, a Russian-speaking gang that's made some of the largest ransomware demands on record in recent months. The FBI says it is working to hold the group accountable for the attack.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Well, get ready to shop till you drop. Amazon's annual Prime Day event will take place June 21st and 22nd. The company made the announcement yesterday. Prime Day is returning to its normal summertime slot after Amazon postponed the 2-day sales event last year due to COVID pandemic-related uncertainty.
Well, have you noticed anything different in the supermarket aisles lately? Well, some of your favorite products are actually shrinking, but you're still paying that same price. Vicki Wen explains why.
From ice cream to crackers, paper towels to detergent, you can find it in stores everywhere. Some of the most trusted brands are giving you less, and often for the same price.
It's a sneaky way to raise prices on shoppers.
Consumer advocate Edgar Dworsky showcases examples on his crowdsourced website. He says most people don't read the fine print.
Why are companies downsizing? Does it have to do with the pandemic?
Well, it has to do with the pandemic only to the extent that they're experiencing their own price increases.
Companies we talk to have been shrinking their products and say it's to offset higher costs without raising prices.
They know most shoppers are not going to realize it because shoppers are price sensitive, price conscious, but they're not net weight conscious.
Experts say these small cuts can save companies millions or more.
It's not always downsizing. Sometimes companies increase their product size. Check out these English muffins. They used to be just 12 ounces. Now they're 13 ounces. The company says customers were complaining they were too small. And what about cranberry juice? This was 60 ounces. Now it's back up to 64.
Consider buying different brands. The store brand can sometimes offer more value and are usually the last to downsize. Vicki Wen, NBC News.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.